A foreign entrepreneur and innovator who has applied for Canadian permanent residency under the Startup Visa program has the option of also applying for a work permit as part of that Startup Visa application. However, like most other applications, there are very specific requirements that this foreign entrepreneur will need to meet. Welcome back. My name is Donovan Francis. I'm a Canadian immigration lawyer at GOOSELAW Immigration, where we help businesses with their employees' work permits and save them from having to deal with all of the legal hassle surrounding Canadian immigration applications. In this video, I want to talk about the work permit application requirements for somebody who wants to apply for a work permit as part of their Canadian Startup Visa application. So the Startup Visa is available to foreign entrepreneurs and business people who are innovators and who have an innovative idea or an innovative business that they want to take to Canada to get it supported, funded, and scaled inside Canada up to a point where it will become large enough to hire Canadians and eventually, potentially, becoming a global operation. And so the Startup Visa allows for these kinds of innovators to apply to come to Canada permanently along with their families and co-founders if that's part of what they require. And they're able to do so while at the same time being able to apply for a work permit as part of the Startup Visa application. So there are some important factors to bear in mind if you're wanting to apply for the work permit component of the Startup Visa. So the Startup Visa, again, is a permanent residency application. However, these applications typically take some time to process, and in the interim, you may want to come to Canada to become actively engaged in the Canadian business that you'd have established and to get things going until the permanent residency application is completed. So one of the requirements in order for you to submit the work permit application is that, well, firstly, the permanent residency application must be underway, right? So the permanent residency application must be underway before you can submit the work permit component. The other thing to bear in mind is that when you apply for a Startup Visa, you have to do so with the support of a designated organization, right? Which is usually going to be an business incubator, or a venture fund, and so on. And you will need, as part of both your permanent residency aspect of your Startup Visa and your work permit aspect, you will need a letter of support from this designated organization. The designated organization will also need to submit a commitment certificate to the immigration authorities indicating that it is committing to supporting your business inside Canada, and as such supporting your application for Startup Visa as well. And so that certificate of commitment must have been already issued before you can apply for a work permit. So you need to receive some kind of acknowledgement from your designated organization that the commitment certificate has already been issued. And at the time you apply for your work permit, the commitment certificate must not have expired. So typically a commitment certificate is valid for 6 months. And so you want to ensure that your study permit, your work permit rather, application is submitted before the expiration date of that permit. So that's going to be very important. You will also want to ensure that you have met the basic requirements around the language test, for instance. You're required to have shown proficiency in either English or French, and the way you do that is by completing a language test and scoring above a level 5 in the English language test. You need to be able to show that you will have sufficient funds to take care of yourself while you're in Canada, you know, and the amount of money required varies depending on the number of family members who are accompanying you. So those are going to be just some of the factors to take into consideration. Equally important, the person or persons who are applying for work permits must have been designated as essential employees, right? Essential to the functioning of the business in Canada. So not all co-founders are necessarily going to be essential, and only those who have been designated as essential are going to be eligible to apply for the work permit. And of all those who are designated as essential, it is important that ultimately they meet all the other qualifications and do qualify for the work permit. Because if one essential person is found to be ineligible for the work permit, then it's going to have an adverse effect on the application of all the other essential applicants, all of the other co-founders who are deemed as essential and who need work permits. So that's going to be something important to bear in mind. The application for a work permit must also include an offer of employment. So the entity in Canada will have to issue an offer of employment through something known as the employer portal as part of that application. Now, of course, there are other requirements that must be met by someone wanting to apply for a work permit as part of the startup visa program. But this video touches on some of the more critical requirements that you will have to meet. And so I hope you found value from this. As always, remember to like our video so others will see more videos like this. Subscribe to our channel and check us out on go.gooselaw.com. Thanks. See you again.